I define the red pill as men getting together and sharing notes on sexual and dating strategy. Do you agree with that description, or do you think the red pill is more than sexual and dating strategy?
I think it's been convoluted by the PUA community. Originally, the red pill was about more MGTOW type stuff. I think you've got guys out there. Rolo was one of them that turns it into how to.
My biggest fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mine too. Rolo's great about telling guys how to stay on a hamster wheel to keep their wife.
Is that how you view it? Like a hamster wheel?
I think the whole thing of romantic chivalry puts men on a hamster wheel.
Because that's still trying to appease her.
Which makes Rolo about as red pill as your average feminist in my book.
Okay.
Not red pill, but just another way to repackage chivalry and sort of throw in some red pill jargon. But ultimately, it's about you're going to maintain her attraction to you for 50 years, and she's always going to be thirsty for you. And that sort of it's like, remember the old ads were on the back of comic books where a guy gets sand kicked in his face on the beach and he sends off for the He-Man packet, and next scene in the cartoon, he's muscled up, kicking sand in the guy's face and getting his revenge. That's Rolo's work to me. It's not red pill.
And it's because it's still it's still appeasing romantic chivalry.
Absolutely.
Because that's, a lot of it uses PUA type stuff. I think the way he would view it is it's like a tool set, right?
Probably, yeah.
But you would say that it's like a bad tool set, or what do you?
I think it's a terrible tool. Life on a hamster wheel is stupid. Okay. It's a stupid way to go. It's just not very bright.
Because you're always trying to appease the women. You're
people pleasing, and you're behaving, trying to get somebody else to care about you. And if you got to get on a hamster wheel to feel cared about, I would just challenge any guy to think about that for a little bit if that's what he really wants. I think the red pill now and always was about self-discovery. Who am I away from women? What are my values? Am I going to live by them? That sort of thing. And having the courage and the information to assert that in life, to tell people, something, I don't rescue women from their own mistakes. I don't believe you should. I think they need to face consequences for what they do, because that's their only hope of learning anything. And separating yourself from the whole gynocentric romantic chivalry claptrap that people find themselves in. I don't think it's about dating strategy. Men have been doing dating strategy, forever. All men have different strategies trying to get women to like them. If your idea of red pill is trying to get a woman in bed, I think you're missing the point of the red pill entirely. Your blue pill, when you're, what hoops do I jump through to get her to like me? That's very blue pill. How about liking yourself? And if she does, great. And if she doesn't, you can go next.
Right. Huh. I've never thought about it like that. That's really interesting. Because, wow, I've never thought about how that ties into romantic chivalry. That's like a really good point. Because it goes back to the romantic model instead of, what would you say, like, because I guess my question would be, what are guys supposed to do in a way? Because they still have to date in this modern age, It's not like,
Well, a lot of them aren't.
Well, I guess arranged marriages aren't coming back. So if a guy wants like a relationship with women, like what is he?
Well, I think he's good if he approaches relationships with women as I say ABS, always be screening. If the attitude is, how do I get next to women that are decent, instead of how do I get next to a woman who will have sex with me? Okay. Which is most guys, true to the cliche, they're like, oh man, she's hot. She's got a nice ass. I want to get her in bed. What do I need to say? Where do I spend my money? Yeah. What do I do? And of course, that is simping. that it's romantic chivalry in practice. He's already gearing up to be on his knee with a diamond in his hand by approaching the relationship like that to begin with. I just say, man, focus on your self-respect. Find out who you are. There will be somebody out there. I believe that, and call me idealistic. I found somebody. I think anybody can, but you have to close the door on bullshit, this romantic chivalry. And there are women out there that are open to the message. How many times have you heard a woman say, that guy bought me dinner and then he thought I owed him sex?
Yeah.
Well, pay for your own dinner. Then you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You've got an asshole like that on every corner.
Yeah.
Those guys are real. They exist. So don't let them buy your dinner.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to accept dinner. You can just suggest like coffee or something cheap, you know?
or anything. Or you can suggest sex.
Okay.
And that's okay. But no, I really think this whole thing, men are visually oriented. They see a woman.
Yeah.
And then the gears start turning. And they're all about romantic chivalry, even when the guy's totally unconscious of it. How do I please her? How do I make her happy? I got to be the right thing. You get lost doing that. I hear women all the time saying, I lost myself in a relationship. And I'm like, bullshit. Men lose themselves in relationships.
Right.
And they end up lonely and devastated. And when she leaves, their lives are the most empty thing in the world.
Well, why would you want to be with a guy that lets you act anyway? And
they don't.
leave?
They lose respect for those guys. It's enjoyable at first. It's really enjoyable while there's infatuation going on. There's a flood of oxytocin and other neurochemicals that make a person feel good. That behavior feels great then to both people. But that neurochemical flood subsides and goes away. And then you're left with, I'm jumping through hoops.
Right.
And she's like, he's not jumping through hoops anymore.
Yeah. What age do you think do men ever wake up? And if so, what age do they tend to wake up?
50.
50.
55, maybe.
That old. Wow.
It was post 50 fully waking up. I woke up partially in 93 reading Farrell's book and getting involved in this stuff. But the real red pill lessons didn't sink in for me until late 40s, early 50s. That's when it really started gelling. And it's like, that sounds unfortunate because, you don't get that in your youth, but it's actually a really good time in life. It's not bad at all. It's a wonderful time to really come into who you are, to discover what your own values are, what your own desires are, and to make a commitment, if you want to share life with somebody, to find somebody that gets on that train with you. But getting on her train is a death sentence every time for men. And that is the thing they have the most trouble learning. Never let a woman lead a relationship.
We don't like to either.
No.
We don't even know we don't like to. But
But you don't respect a guy that lets it happen.
I don't think most women can identify it. I think women, it's like we might feel it, if that makes sense. Like, because I'll hear women, I watch women's TikToks a lot, and I'll use them as like examples for my shows and like what she's saying. And I think women, we rationalize things that don't even make sense. So maybe the outcome will be like something eventually, but I don't think a lot of chicks see it coming. I don't think women like think about getting on a guy's program. We think about what we want.
And I think it's all sort of automatic. It's not very thoughtful, but in the end, when guys turn over the reins of a relationship to a woman, it's over.
Yeah.
At that moment, they should leave then, because it's only going to hurt more further down the road when they spend the time trying to get the reins back with feeble attempts. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
The first time she gets control of the relationship, it's over.